Today, I'll be reviewing Superdreads Hemp, Eucalyptus, Tea Tree and Rosemary Liquid Dreadlocks Shampoo. Before we get started, just a little bit of information that's going to be relevant for both this Dreadlock shampoo review as well as any other Dreadlock shampoo reviews that you may find on my channel. All shampoos are tested for a minimum of 10 consecutive washes. I take notes along the way, and so my reviews contain my experiences both over the short term and the long term. I do this because I believe that pretty much any off-the-shelf shampoo is going to give semi-agreeable results if you only use it for 1 or 2 washes, but it's how the shampoos work out over the weeks and months that really allow you to tell different shampoos apart, and it allows you to split the good shampoos from the bad shampoos. My reviews are based entirely on the experiences that I have with the shampoos during the review period. While reviews can be a great way to get an idea about a product before you purchase it for yourself, it's always worth remembering that everyone's different. Different people in different situations will have different experiences even with the same product, and so there will generally still be some trial and error involved when it comes to finding which shampoo works best for you. Right! Onto the review. Superdreads Hemp, Rosemary, Tea Tree and Eucalyptus Liquid Dreadlocks Shampoo. Now that was a mouthful. I'd be highly surprised if I got those words in the right order, but you know, rearrange as you see fit. Now I've had this shampoo for quite some time now, and I intended to have my review on this shampoo out a long time ago. However, just as I'd completed my review of this shampoo, they changed it. I don't know whether they changed the ingredients or the formulation or what, but they changed it. And so it meant that my original review was no longer all that relevant. Now, I wasn't too upset about that because they updated it. And while I did like the old version of the shampoo, the new version is a lot better. So, wasn't too upset to have to give a new shampoo a review. So this shampoo will be a review of the current version of the Superdread Tea Tree, Eucalyptus, Rosemary and Hemp shampoo. It sits in a different order there. I have no idea. Just to make things a little bit more complicated though, this stuff now ships inside this bottle. So I hope I don't confuse myself when I'm waving different bottles around. Superdreads are a UK-based company that ships worldwide. They sell their own soaps, shampoos, they also sell microfiber towels and a whole range of different dreadlock accessories. The shampoo itself is approved by the Vegan Association. It's not tested on animals. It's handmade in the UK. It's 100% biodegradable and it is free of ALS, SLS, SLES and parabens. So let's talk about the shampoo. Let's work from the outside and work our way in. It ships in this green bottle. It's a medium-sized bottle. It's by no means the largest bottle that I've ever had shampoo shipped in, but it's also not the most expensive shampoo. So I think there's a fair balance there between price and size. It doesn't have a dispense top. It has a screw cap that has a flip-up top. The flip-up top is going to give you total control over the amount of shampoo that you need to dispense, and that's going to become quite important, as you will see later. Its ingredients are as follows. Actually, I should almost confuse myself there. The current ingredients are as follows. Cornish Spring Water, Saponified Olive Oil, Saponified Coconut Oil, Citric Acid, Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil, Eucalyptus Essential Oil, Tea Tree Essential Oil, Rosemary Essential Oil and Infusion. Now I'm fairly sure that this is the first shampoo that I've ever used on my dreadlocks that contains hemp. It's got cannabis sativa oil in it. Now, I've had a number of messages from people that have been wanting to know when this review is going to come out, because I think they're sort of excited by the prospect of being able to say that they washed their dreadlocks with hemp. Okay, so my early impressions of the shampoo. Immediately what's going to strike you is the consistency of the shampoo. If you're used to regular shampoos, then you're more used to sort of thick gel-like consistency, whereas a growing number of dreadlock shampoos these days are more like an oil-type consistency. Now, I've said before that this means it's great with regards to how much washing you can get out of a bottle, because a small amount goes a long way, but if you've never used a shampoo like this before, there's a real risk that you're going to dispense way too much. If you try and use a regular shampoo amount of an oily shampoo like this, you're going to end up using way too much. It's going to get everywhere and it's going to take forever to wash out, and you'll end up likely with bits of shampoo not getting washed out because you didn't spend long enough rinsing. Another thing to note is that because of its composition, because it's not a super chemically shampoo, it doesn't bubble up like a super chemically shampoo. So if you're dispensing until it foams, then you'll be dispensing for a long time because it just doesn't foam in that way. So, you have to be either experienced with shampoos of this type or be aware before you get into it that it only takes a very small amount and that it's not going to behave in the same way as you may be used to coming from normal shampoos. When I'm using it, I first saturate my hair, get my hair good and wet, and then I dispense a small amount of shampoo, and I mean a small amount. It's less than a teaspoon that I put into my palm. I mean, you can see here, I don't know if you can see here actually, but how much is left in this bottle. I've used this for the entire review period, and I'd say that there's still more than 2/3 of the bottle left. That's how little that I use. I rub the shampoo between my palms. It doesn't lather, as I said, as you may be used to from other shampoos, but it does get a nice coverage. I then massage my scalp. Because of its consistency, because it's not thick, it doesn't all get stuck where you place your hands. It will rub around everywhere. Gets really nice coverage from a very small amount. I let the shampoo sit for a few seconds because it does have a cooling, refreshing feeling to it, and then I begin rinsing. I rub the bodies of the dreadlocks against my scalp to get nice overall coverage, and then I just rinse the soapy water through, and that's pretty much the washing process with this shampoo. Once you know how much shampoo you need to use, once you've sort of got used to it, or once you've got some experience with shampoos of this consistency, it really does not take a whole lot of work to dispense, apply and rinse out. It's pretty easy, and because you only need a really small amount of shampoo, there's not a whole lot that needs to be rinsed out. It's just getting over that initial period of, you know, being used to working with shampoos that are sort of this more oily consistency rather than thick gel-like foamy consistency. The shampoo leaves my hair and scalp feeling clean and fresh. It leaves my dreadlocks feeling soft and light, which is great for me, especially with my more mature dreadlocks now that can sometimes feel a bit heavy, a bit rough, a bit stiff. Getting shampoos that leave my hair soft and flexible and light, something that I really look for. It left my loose hairs feeling very healthy and very strong. It struck me how strong they were feeling, but it also left them very soft feeling, which is something I'm going to return to in just a few minutes. My long-term experiences with the shampoo, I found the shampoo to be very consistent. I had no sort of noticeable drop-off in quality over time. Sometimes with the shampoos, they can feel great on wash one, and then, you know, over time the dreadlocks start to feel tired, they start to stiffen up, and they don't feel as fresh as they did when it was a new shampoo. Didn't notice that with this shampoo. It was great from the first wash to the last wash. I came across nothing that suggested that residue was going to become a problem, and I mean, you get to use so little of it. I can't imagine that residue would be a problem for a very, very long time, even if you were in a situation where buildup was going to happen. Now here's the thing, here's the killer characteristic that I came across with this shampoo over long-term use. Now, I suffer from dandruff. Whether I have dreadlocks or not, I have to be careful with what I use on my scalp, because otherwise I can end up with dandruff, which no one really wants. And with dreadlocks, it can become a particular problem because you can't just pick up regular dandruff shampoos, because most of them don't work all that well with dreadlocks. And so you end up in the situation where you have to try different shampoos, different combination of products just to find what works well for you and your dandruff. While reviewing the Superdread liquid shampoo, I found this to be the best shampoo I've ever used when it comes to dealing with my dandruff. Normally, I'm looking for shampoos that sort of just keep things under control, and there are lots of shampoos that do that. A lot of great shampoos out there that can keep dandruff at levels that are barely noticeable, and you know, I'm perfectly fine with. But for working on dandruff specifically, this has so far been the best. This basically eliminated the dandruff. I had no visible signs of dandruff while using this as my shampoo. Obviously that's going to be a personal thing. Different people are going to have different scalps in different situations, but for me, this has been the best so far that I've ever used when it comes to eliminating dandruff. Now, coming back to what I mentioned earlier, it left my loose hair feeling very strong but very soft, and over the long term it became noticeable that it was leaving my loose hairs softer than they'd been with other shampoos. It meant that since I neglect my loose hair and wait for it to lock up on its own, it took longer for the loose hair to knot up. The speed at which loose hair knots up is a balance between sort of the conditions that it's in, how dry it is, etc. So if it's soft and conditioned, it can hang around for longer. So I noticed an increase in loose hair. It's not so soft that it won't knot up, it just takes longer, and it means that overall I was having more loose hair at a time when just using the shampoo by itself. My conclusion, so the Superdreads Hemp, Eucalyptus, Tea Tree and Rosemary Liquid Dreadlock Shampoo. I'm sure that's in a different order again. I found the shampoo to be high quality and provide consistent results from the first wash to the last. Between washes, my hair was clean, fresh, the dreadlocks were soft and light, and as I said, so far, that's been the best for dealing with dandruff out of any shampoo that I've used. While it does take some work to get the quantity right, while it can take some time to figure out just how much you need in order to not use too little, and especially not to use too much, while that can take some work, once you've got it down, washing and rinsing is not an issue, and because you can get away with using so little, you're going to get a whole lot of washes out of one bottle of shampoo. This can be especially useful if you're traveling, because it means that you only have to take a small quantity with you rather than carrying a big heavy bottle with a lot of shampoo in it. Now, the main drawback The main downside for me, other than, you know, getting the right balance right, is how soft it leaves my loose hair. Now, this is going to be a personal thing. If you maintain your loose hair manually, if you crochet it in, for example, it's not going to be a big deal. And in fact, the shampoo may have upsides for that, because I said it leaves the hair feeling very soft and very strong. And so if you're manually maintaining the loose hair, that may be something that you're specifically looking for. But if you're like me and you neglect your loose hair, you may find, or at least I did, it leaves the loose hair a little softer and a little more conditioned than is potentially optimal by itself. You know, it is going to hang around a little bit longer for me because it is so soft and conditioned. This is obviously a very sort of personal thing. Different people in different situations are going to have different hair that is in different environments, and it's also going to depend on the other products that you use. You could balance it out again with something like sea salt spray, but by itself I found it to be a little bit soft. So that was my review of the Superdreads, one more time, hemp, rosemary, eucalyptus and tea tree. Different order again, I'm sure. Liquid dreadlock shampoo. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, useful, informative, enjoyable, please do click the like button. If you'd like to see more videos from myself in the future, you can of course subscribe. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you again next time for the next one. Farewell!